commented underneath that video, "We want to see Steph make 12 threes a game. Stop grabbing him, please."
So, this is the truth they've kept hidden. Steph Curry shot guru Floods feeds Caitlin Clark clips everywhere. And brace yourself, Steph quietly slipped into her Nike sneakers. But now the signals hint at something darker. Rumor says she could secretly be working beside his elite shooting mentor. And Caitlin just left a message under one of Steph's interviews that sent everyone chasing patterns. These two keep colliding again and again, and the timing feels dangerously perfect. Real fast though, let me throw this at you. If Caitlin Clark is truly training with Steph Curry's shooting coach right now during the pause, does that turn her into a nightmare for next season, or are we all spiraling over off-season noise? Let me know what you believe down below, because this entire situation genuinely matters. So, Caitlin's been running her normal social media routine lately. Nothing wild there, but she posted a line that tripped every alarm, and now fans are scrambling to decode what's actually unfolding. Steph gave this interview after a game where the Hornets were practically shadowing him like he stole their wallet. And Caitlin slid into the comments. What she wrote was, "We need to watch Steph drain 12 threes a night. Quit clutching him. Please, right now everyone is watching closely tonight."
He has seen it, but Caitlin Clark commented underneath that video, "We want to see Steph make 12 threes a game. Stop grabbing him, please." You know? And she never really, she would say when something was a foul or to, a complaint to that ilk. But Caitlin hasn't come out and said, what they're doing isn't basketball that often.
Look, that could easily be written off as a random supporter writing for someone they admire. But when you're Caitlin Clark and you say that exact line about that exact issue, it lands heavier because being yanked, bumped, and surviving nonstop physical chaos on the perimeter has basically defined Caitlin's entire WNBA chapter so far. Let's rewind to what Steph actually explained in that interview, because it ties straight into all of this. They asked him whether that kind of defense from the Hornets gets under his skin, and his response was razor sharp. He said one side of him hates it because it isn't authentic basketball, but another side finds it validating since it proves the level of fear he strikes into defenses and how it ends up freeing space for his teammates.
There's a part of you that fights it just because it's not real basketball, but there's also a part of it that's flattering. Just knowing that you demand that much attention, and also what it does to create shots for other guys on the floor. So, and I've seen it all, so I know if that's how they want to guard, how I can be effective, not let it take me out of the game, but also kind of use it to our advantage as a team. And then it's also funny at times just how egregious it is. There's one possession I got to find. I'm actually get the footage. I actually stayed back in the backcourt a long time on purpose just to see how long Sion would stay with me. So that was a fun one.
There was a player of comment section calling you when you left the court.
Yeah, we both knew what we were doing. We were having fun.
That statement about fake basketball hits harder than it sounds right now here. What Steph's really signaling politely is when defenses resort to grabbing, clutching, and face guarding instead of defending properly, that's fear wearing bravado. And Caitlin Clark understands that pain deeper than nearly anyone. She endured it across her whole rookie WNBA campaign. She was swarmed harder than every other player straight out the gates. Defenses would send 2, sometimes 3 bodies toward her the second she crossed half court. Every single touch she's being grabbed, held, bumped, shoved, you name it.
For Caitlin Clark, and you get the attention that she does, you're going to get outsized defensive attention. In her rookie season, she was blitzed more to start that year than any team. A lot of that is strategy. They know what she can do. They know where she has the ball, all that stuff. But then there's part of it like trying to prove a point against her. And then, of course, when you want to rough up the other team's star, that's what coaches preach. If the refs are going to let you do it, you do it. It's something that became a point of contention across her WNBA career so far with Stephanie White, who probably deployed that strategy with the Connecticut Sun. saying that too much contact is allowed on the perimeter. And that's a thing across the WNBA, and it became a theme across the WNBA. But, Caitlin is allowed to be grabbed and held and all those things. Even to the point where I remember there was a broadcast where Rebecca Lobo pointed out, like, there's a foul, and there's a foul, and there's a foul, like Oprah giving.
Some of that pressure is just high IQ hoops. When you're facing the league's deadliest shooter, you're supposed to tweak your coverage. But a huge portion of what went down crossed straight into contact that gets called a foul in basically every other context. And the WNBA officials let it slide. Stephanie White, who's now coaching Caitlin in Indiana after battling her in Connecticut last year, openly admitted the league allows way too much perimeter contact across the board. Rebecca Lobo was on commentary calling out missed whistles on Caitlin like she was passing out coupons. Foul here, foul there, fouls everywhere. But Caitlin has mostly stayed silent publicly. She's pointed out specific moments like that Kennedy Carter shoulder check that was clearly a cheap hit. But she's never gone on record saying the way teams guard her isn't real basketball. She hasn't turned it into a loud public war like other players and coaches have. So when she jumps into Steph's interview telling people to stop grabbing him, it feels different. She's not just writing for Steph. She's standing up for herself without centering the spotlight on her own struggle. It's actually smart, delivering the message without sounding like she's whining or begging for special treatment. And honestly, she's right. Fans do want to watch Steph bury 12 threes a night. That's why his jerseys fly off racks, arenas sell out, and people camp overnight for his shoes. His shooting is the product. When defenses just clutch and grab to erase that, the game suffers for everyone. That same logic applies to Caitlin, too. People want to see her launch from 30 feet, hit step backs, and thread impossible passes. That's her weapon. That's why attendance exploded when she played. That's why her games got pushed to national TV. When defenders just maul her and refs swallow the whistle, nobody wins. The WNBA has somehow convinced itself that allowing excessive contact is a badge of toughness. Like more grabbing equals more legitimacy. That mindset is totally backwards. The NBA limits that contact because they want stars to shine. They know people tune in for offensive brilliance, not defensive wrestling. Chelsea Gray has spoken on it. Becky Hammon has called it out. Natasha Cloud has complained. Stephanie White has said it needs fixing. This impacts the entire league and how perimeter players, especially elite shooters, can actually function. But what's fascinating is how quiet Caitlin stayed until now. She's been careful, probably aware that complaining about refs can make you look soft or excuse-driven. Sliding into Steph's situation lets her make the same argument without it being about her directly. Now let's talk about the other connections between Caitlin and Steph that have people playing detective. Steph wore Caitlin's Nike shoes not long ago. His shooting coach keeps posting her on social. And when you stack the clues together, there's a strong chance Caitlin is training with Steph's personal shooting coach this offseason. If that's true, and it's not confirmed, but the signs are loud, this is massive. Steph Curry's shooting coach works with the greatest shooter ever. The drills, habits, and techniques that sustained Steph for over a decade would be priceless for Caitlin. And honestly, it makes sense. Caitlin is already the best shooter in women's basketball. But if she sharpens her mechanics, upgrades her prep, and adds wrinkles pulled straight from Steph's playbook, she becomes unstoppable. The partnership fits commercially too. Nike is all in on both. They're undersized guards who rewired how people think about range. They deal with the same defensive abuse. It's a perfect match. Steph has always backed women's hoops. He talks about his daughters and wanting WNBA role models. Caitlin is exactly that kind of figure, the same way Steph inspired kids to shoot from the parking lot. That shared vision builds respect. But there's a competitive edge here too. Caitlin isn't content being good. She wants greatness. She wants titles. And if working with Steph's camp during the break gives her an edge, she's smart enough to take it. The timing gets even crazier. Caitlin recently replied to a post from Elijah Surratt, an Indiana receiver playing in the college football championship, who said his dog is named Caitlin Clark. She responded, "Both the player and the dog are welcome courtside this year." This year. Not if there's a season. Not when. A casual confirmation that games are happening. She's confident those CBA talks will get resolved and the season moves forward. And she's probably right, because she's the biggest chip the league has players hold in those negotiations. The entire reason WNBA athletes can even push for massive pay bumps right now traces back to what unfolded during Caitlin's rookie year. Attendance skyrocketed. TV ratings shattered records nonstop. Merch sold out everywhere. Corporate sponsors who ignored the league for decades suddenly rushed to get involved. All of that momentum came from Caitlin and the spotlight she dragged onto the WNBA. So when she says there will be a season this year, it actually means something. If Caitlin believed there was. a real risk of no season, she'd be far more guarded with her words. Casually inviting people courtside signals she knows more than we do about how talks are trending. Caitlin recently spoke at a USA basketball event and said, "None of the CBA stuff matters if they're not actually playing games." She called this the most critical moment in WNBA history and said players must fight for what they believe in while still being willing to compromise. That's an incredibly grounded take for someone entering year 2. But it also shows Caitlin knows exactly where she stands. She's the foundation of the leverage players have right now. Her voice absolutely belongs in these talks because she's driving the revenue that makes higher salaries possible in the first place. The contrast between NBA and WNBA officiating is striking. The NBA wrestles with flopping and exaggerated contact. The WNBA has the opposite issue where real contact is ignored entirely. Both damage the product in different ways. When Steph says excessive face guarding and grabbing isn't real basketball, league decision makers should listen because he's right. Real basketball is skill, spacing, movement, and execution. When defenders can just grab shooters and erase clean looks without consequences, everyone loses. Caitlin lived this every night. Teams assign their most physical defender one mission: make her miserable, knock her off screens, hold her, hand check her, body her full court. And refs swallowed whistles because there's this strange WNBA culture that praises physicality even when it turns dirty. The Kennedy Carter play was the clearest example. That wasn't defense. It was a cheap shot meant to send a message. Caitlin called it out because it was impossible to ignore. But the quieter grabbing that happens every possession is harder to address without sounding like you're complaining. So commenting on Steph's situation gives her an opening. She's not protesting her own treatment. She's backing another star dealing with the same nonsense. Anyone paying attention knows she's speaking from experience too. That line about wanting Steph to hit 12 threes a game says everything because that's exactly what fans want from Caitlin as well. They want 30-foot pull-ups. Record-breaking nights. Offensive brilliance, not defensive wrestling. If the WNBA wants to keep growing, and the expansion plans and media deals say they do, they have to let stars shine. That means officiating games to showcase elite talent. Not eliminating physicality, but finding the balance where skill can breathe. The bond between Caitlin and Steph only grows stronger if she's truly working with his shooting coach. The methods that kept Steph elite into his late 30s could extend Caitlin's prime and protect her body from non-stop punishment. Picture Caitlin returning next season with refined mechanics, sharper preparation, and new wrinkles pulled from Steph's system. She's already the most dangerous offensive weapon in the WNBA. If she levels up again, defenses will resort to even more desperate tactics, dragging us right back to officiating. As Caitlin becomes more unstoppable, the physical abuse likely increases unless the league steps in. Her comment on Steph's interview might be the opening shot. It's far smarter than launching a public crusade against refs. That almost never works. But aligning with Steph and echoing his frustration applies pressure without painting her as the villain. The fact that Stephanie White, who used those same physical tactics against Caitlin in Connecticut, now coaches her in Indiana adds another layer. White knows how effective that approach was and how damaging it is long-term. Her calling for change carries weight because she's admitting the system itself is flawed. Caitlin Clark training with Steph Curry's shooting coach while calling out the same defensive garbage they both face isn't random. This is about elevating her game and building influence to change how the WNBA is officiated. If you want more breakdowns of Caitlin's off-season moves and what they mean for next year, hit that like button and subscribe. The WNBA has no idea what's coming next.